Hey everyone, I'm Threethanism, or Ethan, an Immortal 3 Neon player, and in this video I'm going to go over some Neon movement along with some tips and tricks that work at any level of gameplay. It's something I do in my games all the time, and I hope you get something out of it.
B main late.
Shocking! I'm out of here!
Before we get started, it's super helpful to bind scroll wheel to jump. I have mine set to scroll wheel down, and it makes movement much easier. Throughout this video, I'll refer to W and S as movement keys, and A and D as directional keys. This makes it much easier to tell which keys you're supposed to be pressing during the various movement options. To start with, we've got the very basics of movement, which is a bunny hop, or for short, a B-hop. To do this is super simple. All you have to do is jump as soon as you hit the ground while you hold any movement key or directional key. To practice, jump across split attacker spawn or icebox attacker spawn while holding W and pressing jump every time you hit the ground. As soon as this becomes second nature, all of the movement you're going to do in the future will feel a lot easier as long as you don't have to worry about pressing jump. It should be a natural option that comes without any additional thoughts. The next thing we'll be practicing is elevated airstrafes. To do an airstrafe, all you have to do is hold a movement key and directional key at the same time and turn in the same direction. To do this, I'd recommend going up in these white boxes on icebox attacker spawn and practicing jumping to the left and right. It's important that you get it consistent in both directions so that you'll be able to do it comfortably and freely. Once you're happy with doing elevated airstrafes, try doing them on the ground level. It's important when you're doing airstrafes that you feel comfortable with doing them in either direction and for a long period of time. A neat little tip is to try to move your cursor in an infinity symbol shape to get the feeling between swapping directions with your airstrafes. Once you're happy with normal airstrafes, all you have to do is add in sprint, and there you have it, the most basic Neon movement. One of the more simple parts of Neon movement is a slide redirect. You've probably already done this before, and if you haven't, here's a quick rundown. While moving, press any directional or movement key right before you hit your slide key, and you'll slide in that direction. You're able to backward slide by jumping, pressing S, and hitting your slide key, or you can just press S and hit your slide key very quickly. The next thing we'll learn is something I like to call a 90. The 90 is split into two parts, the curve and the jump. When you combine these two together, you've done a 90. Watch my inputs on the left. I go from W to D and S. This is because I need to transfer my momentum from W to S without completely stopping myself. I do this by going through D as a midway point. Again, make sure to practice doing this in both directions. Like with airstrafes, try doing it with sprint once you feel comfortable enough doing it without sprint. Then, you can try chaining 90s. This is when you just do one 90 after another in opposite directions, as seen in the footage. Let's take a closer look at my inputs so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You can see that right as I'm about to hit the ground, I swap from holding either A and S or D and S and go to W. From there, you have to let go of the old directional key, in this case A, and input the new directional key, D. You can also alternate 90s with airstrafes. This is usually easier than chaining 90s, but it's a little less effective at dodging bullets. It's important to make sure that you don't lose any momentum or speed when you're chaining 90s or alternating 90s with airstrafes. You want to make sure that you stay at top speed the whole time. Next is a 180. A 180 is a variation of a 90, except instead of stopping your camera at 90 degrees, you want to continue past to 180. The timing should be the exact same as a 90, you just want to continue looking past. There are three main uses of a 180. One is to dodge strafe. It's great against semi-auto weapons like a sheriff or any sniper, whereas chaining 90s and other more advanced movement is better for full auto guns like a phantom or vandal. The second use is to regain speed if you mess up a bunny hop. In the clip on screen, I mess up my bunny hops and lose a lot of speed, so I do a 90 into 3 180s, which gives me back my momentum and lets me continue bunny hopping. The third use of a 180 is to do a 180 peak. A 180 peek is when you perform a 180 around the corner, which lets you get quick info on if anyone is there. If so, you can backward slide out and get an easy kill. You can do a 180 peek with an airstrafe or a 90. It's up to preference as they're both great options.
Okay, Neon. Okay, I saw that shit.
I'm gonna go hold hard world.
Yeah, he's alls. Nice.
Okay.
Now we're going to move on to a variation of a bunny hop, the sideways bunny hop. You can do this by alternating your movement keys while holding a directional key. I go across this clearing while holding D and alternating W and S, then do the same thing going back. It's very important to emphasize camera movement as well. When I hold W, my camera moves up. When I hold S, my camera moves down. This adds to the fluidness of Neon movement, which will keep your speed and momentum maxed out. Plus it looks cool. Make sure to practice chaining your sideways bunny hops together, and swapping to the other directional key while keeping your speed up. Here we have a technique that combines 3 movement options I've already covered: a 90, sideways B-hop, and a slide redirect. To do this, start with a 90, but instead of correcting your camera back, start sideways bunny hopping. Once you see someone, you can run past a little bit and slide redirect back to where you were, which usually catches your enemy off guard and gives you an easy kill. That's the end of the tutorial, but keep in mind that as you play Neon and get a feel for her movement, everything you do with her can be freestyle. There isn't always a perfect movement option for every scenario, so it's best to do whatever feels natural and that you're comfortable with. Thanks a lot for watching all the way through. I would also really appreciate if you subscribed, as this video has been in the makings for a while now and took a lot of hard work. Leave a like if you learned something new, and I'll see you guys next time.